I'm Eric Russell. I'm a volunteer with the Enfield Municipal Facilities Committee, and I'm here today to take a tour of the Enfield Ambulance Building with Chief Martin. Thank you for having us today.
Thank you. Well, if you'd like to start off with the ambulance building here, the building's roughly 1890 when it was built. It was Crane Depot. The town purchased the building in 1995, and really the only major upgrades have been we had to put a new roof with, because we had asbestos, and it has been painted, and we did have to install a new door. But other than that, it's pretty much the main upgrades that it's had in all those years.
Excellent. Let's walk inside.
Come on in.
All right. So as we walk in, I notice it smells a little bit. What's the smell?
Well, having the ambulance in here, you get real strong diesel smell coming off it. We do not have an extractor system to suck the carcinogens and the fumes out, so it kind of permeates everything in here.
Without the proper ventilation, does it ever not smell in here?
No, it always smells. It always smells.
Always.
Yep.
And we're right in the training area, is that correct?
This is the training area. We do our local training. We do CPR classes for the public in general, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. We do in-house training here for the squad and community as a whole. The building is not approved for state training for EMS classes, AEMT classes. So we do use another facility in the town because of the lighting, and also because you cannot have an ambulance where you're in the same space as your training area.
So if we can't have state-approved trainings here because of the purpose of the ambulance, what do you do if there's an ambulance call while the training is happening here?
We interrupt the class and get the ambulance, and out we go.
Okay. Do they have
now those people are exposed, obviously, the diesel as we're driving out the door, and the door shuts behind us.
Okay. Let's take a tour of around the ambulance itself. So it looks pretty tight.
Yeah, it is very tight. You got probably 2 feet, 2.5 feet here, probably 6 inches up there.
Is that enough space to access the back door?
You cannot open or restock the ambulance with the ambulance in here. You have to have it outside the building to do that because there's just not enough space to pull a 6.5 foot stretcher out. So everything has to be done outside the building, no matter what type of weather it is. It's got to be done outside the building.
So if you come back from a call in the middle of the night on a cold winter evening, they have to clean and prep the ambulance for the next call?
Everything's outside. It gets deconned outside. We wash it no matter what the weather is. It gets washed outside. We do have drains. They don't work so great in here, so we literally just do everything outside and then kind of hurry up and get it back inside before everything freezes up.
Okay, let's take a walk around.
Yep. So it is pretty tight. We just have our wash supplies and everything over here. So it is a pretty tight stretch to get by. You will not be able to walk in front of the ambulance unless you're really, really thin to walk there. But it's a tight squeeze. We have the headroom going out of the building. We have clipped a couple of the antennas off the top because it's just so tight. And so that's really, you just got to pay attention when you leave the building. So you can't come out here hot. You got to just slowly ease it out. And now you're not knocking the antennas out. But it is a pretty tight space right here. So, yeah.
All right, Chief. So when you do come back from a call, is there a space for people to clean up or change clothes if they happen to get something on themselves?
We do have a shower in the bathroom. Storage is very limited here, so we are able to. If someone does get biohazards on them, we are we have uniforms hanging here now. We just pull all this stuff out, and they are able to wash in the shower. It's still pretty tight. We don't have any type of way for someone to decon their clothes, so that's the issue. There's no way to
There's no washing machine, they would have to take it home.
Nothing. They would have to take it home and possibly expose their family to some bad stuff. So, or throw their clothes out
Okay.
and waste their money on their clothes. And I'll show you this is the office area. Pretty compact. We don't really have any privacy as far as if there's a class going on to do reports with HIPAA. I mean, they're literally seeing everything you're doing and typing. We do have the files locked up, but it is a very, very tight space, and that's one of my biggest concerns is people can watch you write a report about someone else.
So is it fair to say that you basically can't file the paperwork properly if there's somebody else
No.
here in the building?
No, it delays doing that. You really hate to have people take the paperwork home to do it. So it can be, once in a while, it is a problem to do that because, you know, something's going on and stuff. And so, other than that, like I said, pretty tight area to do stuff. So, and I can show you the storage area if you'd like to see this. This is pretty quick. So this is where we keep our supplies. It is not secure. And I was actually thinking about this for some time now. Every time the ambulance starts, this stuff is actually getting the dust and carcinogens from the ambulance, from the fumes coming into this part. So we've been trying to really make sure that we keep that door closed so that none of these supplies are getting contaminated with the smell and everything. You still get a little dust. That's the nature of the beast, but it's pretty tight right here.
Are you able to store everything that you need here, or are there...
Our narcotics are secured in a safe in the ambulance, but normal medications are there out in the open. So we're lucky that we definitely make sure that door is shut if anyone from the public's in here, so that none of this stuff is messed with. So, but there's no really good way to secure it right now. So.
Yeah. Would a best practice, if there was a proper security on this space, would you have the narcotics in here as well, or is the ambulance the proper?
Well, you don't.
location?
We do not stock a lot of backup narcotics because of Dartmouth. We're able to go and restock when we take the patient up there. So narcotics, we try not to keep them in here. We do have a security system that I put in just so it records. So if someone breaks in here, especially with narcotics, you know, at least hopefully we can catch them on there. And it automatically goes up to the cloud, so if they steal the unit, we can still catch them.
So it sounds like the overall safety of the building is actually quite good.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah. So I can show you the basement here.
Okay. Let's let come watch you open that.
Yeah. This is how we get to the basement here. This used to be wide open. When I became the chief, I make sure that this was all covered up down here. You can walk on the top of this if you have to, but it was wide open with nothing around it. Just watch your head. Well, this is our basement area. It stays wet 365, 24/7 all year long. Even in the middle of summer, we still have water pouring through the floor. This down here is actually has some main beams that are wood. It does have some steel beams with a lot of columns over here and right here. You can see they're starting to get rusty. The columns have already been replaced once since I've been here, and as you can see, they're already starting to go. So we'll probably have to get that done next year. And you know, you have a mold issue. You can see the water. I've been in here before where literally I had 14-inch boots and I had to put bags over my boots just to get to turn all the sump pumps on. So it does stay pretty wet down here. As you can see by the looks of these have been down here for years. The water's gotten so high, literally, this stuff is basically needs to go and be thrown out because there's nothing any good anymore on it with the mold and everything that's down here. This is the main panel right here. Water does come in there, and I did put that pipe up there, and literally the pipe does catch it to make sure that it doesn't get near the internet or the power supply coming in. So, and you can see just how bad the beams are right here. Where it's wetter, it gets worse. So, and we did have to get this drained because moisture leaking off the ambulance got into the heater ducts and rotted those right through. But kind of dark. We do have some main beams, and keep in mind the ambulance is directly above us. This is a wood floor with 4 inches of concrete poured on top of it. So, but you can see the decay in the main beam starting where the moisture off the ambulance slowly wicks down through the cracks in the concrete. So, and these were actually the old columns that they did take out the last time that they were replaced. They never took them out, so, but they're just sitting here, so they're pretty crunchy. And keep in mind that you have the heat ducts here too, so it's probably picking up the spores from the mold that are.
So the air intake is all from the...
Yeah.
The,
So that's what all the intake and return and stuff, so.
And it looks like none of the heating ducts are insulated or
No.
energy efficient anymore.
No. Yeah. So a lot of this stuff this spring is gonna go because it's just, it's just completely ruined. We have mold growing here and there, so it's pretty, you know, things are starting to get, it's just old, it's an old building, you know. It served the town very well over the years. So, I mean, if you look up here, you can see it come around here and you look like this eventually was a drain at one point, and you can just see how things are kind of starting to let go. So. Then I'll show you guys all the sump pumps. This building, of course, the sump pumps do run a lot. This will be gone this spring. But you can see where this chair literally has had water over it because the pump had failed. So I had to walk through the water to get to them. So it does go through pumps pretty good. We usually get at least 2 every other year. So this is the area that they put in for the pumps. Right now, as you can see, it's still got water in it. If I turned it on, she'd go, but it just basically comes right in. And right behind you, you can see where it's hydraulically bored right through the concrete in multiple areas. As you look around, you can see it just powered right through, pushed right up through it. And we do get water, you know, coming through all the cracks. As you can see, water has hit the water heater before and kind of filled up the top of the water heater, which was a surprise to me when I came down here that day. So, but this is pretty much what we got down here. We cannot store anything down here really. As you can see, it gets ruined and wet. So some of this stuff has been down here for quite some time. So.
Well, thank you, Chief Martin. I really appreciate you taking the time to give us a tour of the Enfield Ambulance
You're welcome.
today.
Thank you for coming. All right, I gotta go.
All right.